Call the names. Wake the room. Wake the room. Wake the room! Luyu! Rex! Pam Ray! Naomi! Afasiana! Babbler! Monarch Soul! Jojo! Gray eyes! Fill my eyes! Poets assemble. No masks, no manners. Say it plain, or say it broken. Monday night in the garden of enlightenment. Low light lit minds, every line got intent. Clock ticks crooked and the room turns vigilant. Quiet so loud you can hear what the tension meant. Then it slips after midnight, manners get murdered. Nice little masks get cracked by a word or a murmur. Twisted Tuesdays twist truth till it turns on its heel. Clean cut faces go strange when the dark gets real. You can feel that shift, that slick little slip when the grin stays sweet, but the eyes don't sit. Like the room grew ribs, like the walls grew ears, like the hush got hands and it's pulling you near. And the words don't rest, they press. Put a heel on the chest, leave a dent in the breath. Every line like a knock from the back of the brain. Like you came in one shape, you won't leave the same. Late night poets, where the room leans in, where the sharp gets shown in the soft dough dim. Late night poets, hear the whole thing shift from a whispering the ribs to a line that lifts from the darkened edge of doubt to the pull you can't ignore. We don't just read the night, we make it something more. Say it plain, say it broken. Late night poets, Wednesday breaks, parts in the park, sink down the spine, half halo, half hazard, both hands in the light. In the yard of seduction, walks soft through the smoke, silk on the tongue with the blade in the joke. Books and bards wakes dust in the depth of the shelves. Old ghosts lean out and start naming themselves in a craft and sullen up the ache. Gets a voice, pain stands up street and makes silence a choice. Then break on through when the devil gives way, when the masses sink but the pulse says pray. Echoes in the dark, oh hun, the fear, that thing with no name starts ringing in your ear. Say it, say it. Fill my eyes with poetry, don't water it down. Let it bite, let it bloom, let it burn through the crowd. Bad company grins like a bruise, dressed smart, and rhythm and rhyme puts a boot through the heart. Late night poets, where the room leans in, where the sharp gets shown in the soft dome dim. Late night poets, hear the whole thing shift from a whisper in the ribs to a line that lifts from the darkened edge of doubt to the pull you can't ignore. We don't just read the night, we make it something more. Say it plain, say it broken. Late night poets, some come shattered, some come slick. Some speak honey with a blade in it. Some sound velvet, some sound wire. Some walk in low and take the room higher. Some come holy, some come liars. That's the thing! This ain't filler for the dead space, no. There's a pulse with a pen, this is blood with a nickel, this is breath to the backbone, ink for the crown, live marks, live nerves, truth laid bare in the round. This is the beautiful mess, the bruise and the bloom, the line that cuts clean and makes a little room. Late souls, wide eyes, all nerve in the dark, a room full of hearts beating hard through the dark. Wake the room, wake the room. Late night poets, where the room leans in, where the sharp gets shown in the soft dome dim. something more. Late night poets, when the clock slips past polite, we tell the truth. L&P, we love you. Stay frosty.
Hello, world. Happy Monday. You're listening to the Garden of Enlightenment with Luyu, Wild Dove, Gray Eye Smith, and special guests. Any guests that show up, they're special. Anyway, tonight's show is brought to you by a group, sorry, a poetry site on the internet called allpoetry.com. And this is from a group on that site called Late Night Poets. So we have a show every night of the week, sometimes twice. Feel free to check those out and help support these. Oh, sorry. We have anthologies available on Amazon.com. Yeah, so feel free to check those out and help support these shows. That said, tonight's show is based on front page picks for the first hour and open poetry in the second hour, and then back to front page picks when open poetry runs out, if it runs out. But yeah, that said, let me check the studio here. If you guys are callers. No callers, just feel my eyes, the wizard in the background. Hello, wizard.
Hello, Gray. You can't see me up here on stage with you?
Yeah, I can, but I just figured you were in the background.
No, well, you're all by yourself if I
All
just.
I see is a pair of lips.
Well, there you go. There you go. That's me. Someday I'll be a big green eye again, but right now.
Yeah. So,
Well,
yeah,
I
exactly
guess
right.
I guess before we start,
So Luyu, sorry, go ahead.
that's okay. Before we start, I wanted to let everyone know we had an announcement posted in the room by Pretty Bird saying that Titus Llewellyn passed away on the 16th of this month. So just so everyone is aware, she's doing a tribute show.
Oh,
You can contact her with details because I have no idea. Um, and so I just wanted to pass that on to everybody. It's a shame. Titus should be missed. Absolutely. So,
oh
sorry.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He was a fantastic poet.
Yep. And he was a contributor
He'll
to
be
Art.
well missed for sure. R.I.P. Titus.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Very sad.
It is.
And yeah, Lee Wildove is normally the host of this show, but unfortunately, she's had a lot of health issues of recent. So we'll wish her the best and hope for happy healing.
Right.
And yeah,
I did see on the
wow,
board
what
tonight
a
that
night! You had
she's.
to call me, remind me, and then
Ah, I laughed. I said, "Did you forget?"
she was on the board tonight.
Well, she's on the topic board saying that she's going to read something. So,
Yeah, well, I was in the middle of
go ahead.
right. Um, so hopefully we'll hear from her then. I texted her just now, and we'll see what she says. Might be sleeping because of all
Yep.
the pain meds and everything that she goes on. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Hopefully she shows up.
Yep. Time will tell.
Otherwise, I think it's just you and I so far. I don't even see anybody chatting in the group at all.
Yeah, I know it's very
I don't
quiet.
see anybody in the
You
studio
know,
chat or anything.
it's
No
that
Robbie,
time of
no
year, isn't it?
Pam.
It is that time
Yeah,
of
it
year.
really is.
Well, Pam was just in the room. Aaron was just in the
Yeah,
room.
exactly.
But
Yeah.
summertime rolls around, the kids get out of school, and people just cut loose for a while. The weather's finally broken in a lot of places. You know, God, I thought we were having perpetual winter. I started feeling like we were on
Yeah.
Game of Thrones. Winter is coming. Winter will never leave. You know, that kind of a deal. But
Right. Yeah.
It's a little crazy.
Well, we've had a good year so far. It's been pretty sunny and warm, so
Nice.
it's been nice.
Very
See if
good.
that helps.
Very good.
All right. Is that better?
Is what better? Is what better?
Oh, now I got to find a pair of plug-in headphones. Hold on.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've kind of developed, headphone ears. If I don't have them on, I can't really hear anything.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not seeing them anywhere. Watch out, dog. Sorry, I'm just trying to find these
Okay.
headphones.
We're
I'm
gonna have
sorry.
we're gonna have rain tomorrow. Yep, I can tell because my feet are driving me crazy, and I have a headache to beat the band. I'm like, okay, you win. It's actually
Wow.
it rained this afternoon too. I was sitting here saying, why do I feel so rotten? And I went out and I looked out the window, and the ground was wet. I mean, it was barely raining, but sometimes that's worse. I'd rather just have a good old thunderstorm and be done with it. But
Right.
the way it works,
Yeah. Exactly.
not the way
Uh,
it works. Ugh.
well, no, I can't find my headphones either. My plug-in headphones.
They're over there.
My goodness.
Look over
Right.
there.
Yeah. They're the last place I put them. Right.
That's right. But right over there.
Yeah. I'm looking over there. I don't see them. I can't find them, Phil.
You're looking in the wrong there.
And
The other there.
right.
The other there.
Yeah. Exactly.
Uh,
The other there over here.
something like that.
Yeah. Well, I think what I'll do is I'll just hold the phone away when I'm reading and then put it to my ear when I'm listening. So
If you pull it
hopefully
away,
that'll work out.
I don't know. If you move it when you're reading, I don't know. If you move it away while you're reading,
Well,
I'll be able to hear you. So we'll have to figure it out. We'll figure it out as we go.
yeah, yeah, exactly. All right. I'm going to grab the first link here and I'll post that to the board.
Okay.
This is a poem called Light Fishing on the Lighthouse by Sidewinder. And post it in the group here. All right.
Okay, you got it.
I will start us off here. Fishing on the Lighthouse. Cove, just before one gets to the turnoff to the lighthouse, it's dusk. I get my fishing tackle, rods, fishing basket, and lawn chair out of my old Ford station wagon, ready for the night's fishing. Set out the lawn chair, then put a night crawler on the hook, then cast out on the cove. Set the rod holder deep on the bank, and set the rod down, putting a bell on the pole. Grab a minnow out of the bucket, place the minnow on a hook, place a night crawler on the other hook, then cast it out in the opposite direction. The night's fishing adventure had just begun. End poem.
Nice. Sounds
Well,
like
what did you think, Phil?
it
Sound relaxing to you?
sounds relaxing to me. That's exactly what I was going to say. I could do that. Just sit there, cast it out, pull it in, maybe catch something, maybe not. I might end up snoozing and waiting for the bell. You know.
Exactly, yeah.
But
That's the
that
thing about those bells is that they
right,
ring and you jump up and away you go. The
right,
fight is on.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
sounds like very soothing and relaxing time with great imagery. And yeah, I was with them, you know, casting out that hook. So great job, Sidewinder. Very well.
absolutely. Beautiful comment. Thanks so much, Phil. And yeah, I enjoyed it. It's got that tranquil fishing energy where it's peaceful, relaxing. There's nobody yelling, nobody fighting. It's just you, the water, the fish, and the lighthouse.
Yeah,
And the cove, of course. Um, I think because it's nighttime, You want to keep that bear spray close depending on where you are, but other than that, it's good to go. Um, a little snoozy in your lawn chair there, when waiting for that bell to ring. You jump up, you grab your fishing pole, and you reef on it, set the hook, and yeah, game on. Nicely done. Thanks so much for sharing that sidewinder, and it was a pleasure to read that for you. All right, I'm gonna
Oh,
grab the next poem here. All right, this one should have been for Pam
say hello, Luyu.
because it's called "I'm Switched On,"
Sounds
and
like it. There you
it
go.
is by Brian T. Duffield. If you wouldn't mind reading that, please, Phil.
Sure, give me 1 second. Hi, Lou. Just so you know, Lou has popped into the studio. Okay. Okay.
Whenever you're ready, Phil.
I know. I have to go and get the link. I have to go into Brian's stuff to get the link
Oh, really?
so I can post it.
Oh, I see. Right,
Yeah, because otherwise it
right.
just looks like
Oh,
God.
yeah.
Hi, Pam.
Yeah, I
Hi,
don't know what happened
Phil.
to her phone.
Hi,
Everything comes up with a
crave.
Google link to it.
I know.
Hi, Pam.
Google links are rough.
Good to hear you both.
It's good to hear
It's
you.
nice to hear you too. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. Just listening in. Decided I'd join in.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we can be a boring old couple here.
Speaking of self-awareness,
Not at all. I have no doubt. No doubt. In fact, I just figured, well, if they start having fun, I want to be part of it,
yeah,
you know?
Well, yeah, you must have heard me say your name when I said that the next
I
poem's
heard you
written
say
for
it three
Pam.
times. That's why I came out of the mirror.
exactly. Okay. Well,
Those damn two-way mirrors.
right. Okay, great. Well, I'm ready when you are. So, the title of this poem,
Alrighty.
I'm Switched On by Brian T. Duffield. From the butcher's back office, I'm aroused from morning darkness, stone black in winter. The cackling switch flickers, coughs light, and sputters sparks. An energy rush rises beneath the blanket of black. Encased in a latex sheath, my thin body stiffens and flinches as my limbs pulsate a white hot light. I grow bulging buds shimmering around the beveled wooden block. Worn leather saddle smooths into a curved contours of my hip and thigh. The plastic curled green trims weave between the trays, a mockery of Eden, beneath my glazed eye in a parody of blossomings. I see my reflection in the steel edges, as my audible breath hums, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest? I inquire. A metronomic beat thrums. A tinnitus strums in secret kisses with the lurid pleasing of a lute. Across the shop window display, I'm trapped in Krypton. Like Superman, the naked meat trembles as her breath exhales, panting gasps beyond the glass display. My whitened touch caresses dead flesh, eager to finger the recesses in shade. Sirloin steaks sweat bubbling beads of blood. A luscious leg of lamb entices overhead. Liver with lustrous skin shimmers, glossed skins oiled by light. Scarlet meat mince crocheted in tightly woven stitches, curly perm style. Beguiles. Pork sausages scintillate in linked strings, like a silk bow at the Moulin Rouge. At sunset, a switch is flicked at the close of day. An earthy odor of dead things now stains the air. The cackling switch flashes, coughs light, and sputters sparks. I release in cold darkness. My final anthem reaches a crescendo of car headlights. End poem.
Well, fantastic read, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think, Pam?
Wow, this was really strong and visceral. I first started reading and I'm thinking this is just like a really like horrifying dark rite. And then, as I started reading it more, it still feels dark, but because it like I feel like it could go one of two ways. Like it really is actually like serial killer dark, or it's actually talking literally about a butcher shop. Either way, I think Brian T. Duffield has done just an amazing job of personification along with imagery and metaphors, writing in the voice of that fluorescent light, which captures all the gory details of the butcher shop. Um, and I thought there was great lines throughout, but I especially like the plastic curled green trims weave between the trays, a mockery of Eden beneath my glazed eye, and a parody of blossomings. Wonderful lines and very well done.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pam. Yeah, I kind of got that vibe of the serial killer thing too at first there, but then you realize he's writing in, personifying the light, the fluorescent light. Um, but that ending stanza really hit me with the cackling switch flashes, coughs light, and sputter sparks. I release in cool darkness. My final anthem reaches a crescendo of car headlights. A crescendo of car headlights had me. I'm like, okay, um, like normally car headlights don't make any sound, and I associate crescendo with sound, but I could see it as a flash or something like that. Um, I don't know. It was fantastic, right? You did a beautiful read of it, Phil. What did you think?
I thought that this was a great piece by Brian. Wonderful imagery throughout. Excuse me, and very well done. I was looking at him going, wow. First off, that strange flip of the switch for the light. How the cackling switch flickers, coughs light, and sputters sparks. Made me wonder, like, ooh, reminded me of the Bates Motel. That kind of flickering kind of rush of lights that just necessarily don't completely light everything up. And then he starts on about the different, um, it gives. I see my reflection in the steel edges as my audible breath hums. I laughed when it said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, there's Pam again. Who's the fairest?" I inquire. But then it goes on about the uh, sirloin steak sweat, bubbling beads of blood, a luscious leg of lamb. Like he really did. He carried that as you said, horror flick vibe all the way through. So wonderful imagery, and congrats on the front page pick, Brian T. Duffield. Thanks for sharing.
Absolutely fantastic comment, Phil. My eyes. Alrighty, Pam. I'm going to put you to work now with a poem by Un momento, por favor. Kai Mouse. It's called The New Curriculum. If you wouldn't mind reading, please, Pam.
I would be happy to. We are learning the geometry of the floor, calculating which angles hide us best from the door. The math hasn't changed, but the variables have. We no longer solve x we no longer solve for X and Y. We solve for how many bodies fit behind a locked cabinet. The routine, the sound, it's never a drill. The sound, it's never a fire drill. It's a heavy, hollow click of a bolt. The sight, not the chalkboard, but the line of sight from the hallway. The lesson, how to hold your breath until your lungs feel like glass. We have traded our once upon a times for just in case. We watch the clock not for the bell, but for the silence to stay unbroken. The hallway used to be a vein pumping life through the building. Now it is a throat we hope stays closed, the aftermath of the ordinary. We go home and wash the scent of wood smoke and floor wax off our skin, but we can't scrub away the way the air felt when it stopped moving. Our parents ask, "How was your day?" And we say, "Fine," because I practiced dying today. Doesn't fit between the bites of dinner. This is not the weight a backpack was meant to carry. This is not the rhythm a heart was meant to keep. We are children growing old in the span of a single heartbeat, waiting for the world to realize this is not normal. It is a tragedy we have mistaken for a weather pattern, something to be endured rather than something to be stopped. End poem.
Wow, beautiful read, Pam Ray. And Fill My Eyes, what did you think?
I think sadly I have to throw you under the bus. I was busy trying to find Lou. Lou thought we couldn't hear her, but I never picked her up on stage. I'm trying to get her to
Oh,
come. So I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm bouncing between screens. So I'm sorry. I have to go back and kind of read it again. Sorry. Sorry, sorry.
alrighty, I'll comment then. Um, yeah, I mean, I liked it. It was a modern voice, a voice on the situation in the modern world where schools are haunted by, killers, um, places that used to be veins of life, and now it's a throat that stays closed. We hope stays closed. Um, I don't know. I thought it was fantastic. Really, I like the headers on each um, each paragraph. Really, the new curriculum, the routine, the aftermath of the ordinary. Um, and then the way it ends with, "This is not normal. It is a tragedy we have mistaken for a weather pattern, something to be endured rather than something to be stopped." Yeah, it's a heart wrenching, right? I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to be a teen today in schools just because of the gun violence, the gang violence, all of that stuff that goes on now in schools. It's it's like a battleground now every day that you go to school as a teenager. Um, Heart wrenching for sure. What did your thoughts, Phil?
I think this was a great piece. Very well penned. Um, it did used to be, there was a day when we all went to school and we learned, reading, writing, and arithmetic, and maybe a few other science, don't forget those things as well. But now, kids have to go to school and they have to practice what happens if there's, a shooter in the school, or, if someone bursts into the classroom, with a knife or whatever. And sadly, I said sad but true, uh, it's just, it's tough times for everybody. It's hard on kids, to say the least. Um, but this is really a well done piece. So thank you, Kai Mouse. Great job, and congrats on the front page pick. Hang on, I got to pick up.
Absolutely beautiful comment, Phil.
Hello.
Hello?
Luyu
Yes,
Wild Dove.
Can you guys hear me?
we
Yep,
do.
loud and clear.
Oh my goodness. I'm happy to be here. I don't know who's on. I'm just glad it connected this time.
Yeah. Well, see, Lou, when you come into the studio, nobody
Yes.
can hear you until I put you up on the screen. And I didn't hear you say anything when I was there. I was looking at both.
Well, then I
So
was
I know.
talking to the mute button.
Yeah. Well, pretty much. Pretty much.
Happy
So
to be here. It's been a long time.
Did you get
it
that?
has been.
Sorry, happy to have you. Did you hear that poem from Kai Mouse?
No, I'm
Okay.
sorry. I've been trying to get on, and my internet keeps throwing me off of all poetry, so I'm having a bit of trouble here. But I'm happy to be here.
No problem. Well, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Alrighty, so up next we have Dark Night of the Soul brings us Polaroid, and I'll give this a read. It's the old photographs that fool you, like the one with your mom, long dead, your wrinkles gone, Your waist is a size 34. Hair still sienna. Behind you both, the rose garden in brilliant crimsons. That was her pride and joy. And you suddenly realize you haven't pulled the weeds in 10, 12 years, and you ache for something you never liked doing because how it lives in places you keep everything you've lost. And that damned Polaroid is a souvenir of a time when you believed most of the pages in your book were still blank and poem. And the author's note says it was inspired by Sad Thing by Lazar Trubman. As with all of my poetry, no AI was used in this piece. What did you think, Luyu?
I found this Dark Night of the Soul's poem very. What I mean is that when I was listening to him talk about this, we all think that our life sometimes may have not been what it was. And then you end up cleaning and, you end up going through things and you find a photo of your mother when she was young and when she was a gardener and used to plant her flowers and had them in crimson, like it says, brilliant crimsons were her roses. And, then he realized, because we get busy with life, sometimes we're not able to do the things that we used to do, or maybe we have ill relatives like our mother, and we're taking care of her and just have found that time has gotten lost, especially if they get Alzheimer's or dementia. And you ache for that again, to relive in those places. And, sometimes you feel like you've lost everything. But when you end up looking at those little cherished items, a Polaroid or something, a clock or a red lipstick your mom wore, whatever it is that triggers those memories, I thought this was beautiful and heartbreaking at the same time. And beautiful read.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks so much, Lee Wildove. And Fill My Eyes, what did you think?
Phil went off stage.
Oh, I see, okay. Alrighty. What did you think, Pam Ray?
I thought this was wonderful. It's amazing how just one simple word like the word Polaroid can bring back so many memories. I remember my mom having a Polaroid camera and how much fun we used to have with it. And then you look back at all the pictures taken in the like 70s, 80s. And, I mean, I know Polaroids were around after that, but the 80s, especially when they were a real big thing. And, I find myself very much relating to this, right? And I think many people can, even if you didn't have a Polaroid camera in your family, there's just that idea of looking through pictures and the how heart-wrenching it is when how heart-wrenching it is when the times change, people change, and you kind of want things back the way they are, but at the same time, you just know that you have to acknowledge that life moves forward, and sadly, we have to face the losses that come about. So wonderful, right, by Dark Night of the Soul, and very well done.
Great comment, Pam Ray. Thank you so much. And Lee Wildove, your thoughts?
You already asked.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Everybody doesn't have their comment list. Mm-mm.
I apologize. But no, thing about pictures is that they capture time in a place that you can never revisit. Your heart longs for that place and that time, but unfortunately, you're just looking at a picture, and it's heart wrenching sometimes. I mean, it's beautiful at the same time, as it's heart wrenching because you know that those days are gone. Some of those people aren't around anymore, and so. But I mean, it's better to love and lose than never to love at all. So that's kind of what I take out of that. It was a wonderful write, and yeah, nicely done. All right. So up next we have Paka Saal Andra brings us dust and silence. Is it my read, Pam?
Oh my gosh, you expect me to keep track of this stuff? I wish I had known that. That is a good question. Hold on, let me check. Um,
Who read the last one? Was it you or I?
um, it was Brian, fantastic, right? I see nothing that says anything about Dark Night of the Souls. I guess I must have read it.
Okay. All right. We'll go with that. All right. So
Sure.
Raka Sayalandra brings us dust and silence. The dust tastes like copper and burnt wood. It coats the throat, settles in the lungs. A single shot lies alone in the street. The other half is gone. Miles away, a pen touched paper. Here, hands touch warm stone. They speak of borders and threats. We speak of names that are no longer answered. That is not politics. This is a mother screaming without sound. This is a clock stopped at 3:14 a.m. Anger is not a fire here. It is the cold weight of loss. It is the knowledge that safety was a lie. We do not curse the faces on the screen. We curse the distance that allows this. We curse the logic that trades lives for lines on a map. The smoke clears, but the smell remains. There is no victory in a grave. There is only the empty chair at dinner. There is only the dust and the silence that refuses to leave. End of poem. Whew, what did you think, Pam Ray?
Great read there, Gray. This had such strong, heartfelt lines. Wow, I tell you, it feels like it's just going to be a night of powerful and amazing poetry. I mean, congratulations on a well-deserved front page pick to Raka and, to everybody else who got a front page pick. I really like how, because there's so many issues that there's these issues that people make political when it's not about politics, it's about decent humanity. And I like that Raka says that this is not politics. This is a mother screaming without sound. This is a clock stopped at 3:14 a.m. Anger is not a fire here. It is a cold weight of loss. It is the knowledge that safety was a lie. And it's so sad that we live in a world so torn apart by war and violence and so-called politics. um, when 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 really it's just a matter of, when are we going to start being decent to each other? I think this is just absolutely an amazing write by Raka Sayalandra, and I apologize if I totally butchered that last name, but a new name to me. What an absolutely amazing poet, and very well done. Are you on mute, Gray? I know you just got back.
Yes, I am.
All right.
I was saying that it kicked me off, so I re-came in, and now my speaker's like 10 times louder.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Weird. I tell you, yeah, when I looked down, I was commenting, I looked down at the screen and I saw I was the only one, and I'm like, oh my God, they're all jumping off.
Right? Luyu got dropped too. Luyu,
Yeah.
well done. What did you think?
Okay, I didn't get to read all the poem. I'm so sorry because I was trying to get back on. I don't know. Can you guys even hear me?
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, I really, are we still talking about Raka?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't get to read it all, so he talks about the dust and silence here, and I live in the desert, and we used to have some copper mines here, and the wind would pick up, and it's just, you can, no matter where you're walking, you can taste it, so you're always looking for some place to not have that taste in your mouth, but how can you not when you're not safe in your own home? I understand about borders and threats, and he's saying that this isn't about politics, and that a mother's screaming at 3:14 in the morning and there's not a fire here, and it just made me think of the army, or these vigilantes that come in through your lives, like a curse of logic that trades lives for lines on the map. Just like in the military, how they map up where they're going to go in and attack, but it doesn't say if it's military or some type of group. And that when the smoke clears, um, what are you left with? Is it really a victory when life is ruined by whatever conflict that is going around you when you have nothing to do it? And then when after the funeral, after burying somebody, and it's so difficult to go back into the house and see that chair that somebody warmed with their heart and held you and kissed you and that you ate meals with, it's no longer there. And like he says in that last sentence, which just breaks my heart, and the silence that refuses to leave. And he said that this was I don't know if somebody read it, probably graded, that this was a tribute to the lives lost. And how deeply sad this is when different countries, different states, wherever this is going on, areas, region, when people have to go through this, I can't imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. War has always terrified me. I mean, it's just so pervasive and invasive, and I don't know all the other invasives that there is. It's so scary to me. I would never want to see war in my lifetime. Quite honestly, um, I have no desire to pick up a rifle and go kill people because they're invading or whatever. But it's a heart wrenching poem. It leaves empty chairs at the dinner table. Um, but I don't know. The language that was used in this is just excellent. Really, it's so concise and so um, precise in its placement. This is not politics. This is a mother screaming without sound. This is a clock stopped at 3:14 a.m. Anger is not a fire here. It is the cold weight of loss. It is the knowledge that safety was a lie. Wow. Powerful, right? Nicely done. And it was good to meet Raka. Nicely done. Pamray, you read it. What did you think?
Oh, I already commented, but since my voice is out here, I would like to say, since I didn't get a chance to say hi to Lou yet, I'd like to say hi. So, hey, Lou, good to hear you. I have to say, you sound a whole lot better than the first time you called in because there was a whole lot of echoing. So, you're sounding pretty good. Oh, I said that a little too late, apparently.
Mm-mm.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, I'm tired of being in hospitals, but I'll have to be going back for another surgery. I broke my leg
Oh,
really badly. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, yes. I saw somebody drop and I thought it was you, Lou, but it was Gray. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
I'm back. Yeah. Sorry about that. I don't know
So,
what happened. Okay.
and if I have to go back to that rehab again, you're not going to be able to hear me again. I'm just discombobulated right now because I haven't done this in 7 months that I've been able to get on.
Oh,
And
yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot. I
it,
completely understand that.
I do this for
But
fun, but I didn't realize how much I missed it.
Yeah, we missed you.
I missed y'all too.
All right. I'm gonna grab the next one here. Oh, alrighty. Dust and Silence. Okay, we have a poem. Who is it by Samuel Black? If you wouldn't mind reading that, please, Pam Ray.
I would be happy to. A wind chime pings the voice of that lost girl from Baker Street, the one whose picture is up the sidewalk on every pole missing since the night before she thought she heard something at the door. A single knock, then nothing. End poem.
Wow. What did you think, Luyu? Well done.
I really admire Samuel Black's poetry, you know, and I really like his title because it just opens up what is to come, and it's talking about a lost girl from Baker Street. I cannot imagine being a parent, a sister, a brother of a picture of my brother or sister or mother being taped up on telephone poles, on some windows, looking for them. And I don't know. You know, when somebody's missing, it's like your hearing becomes more sensitized to where you're listening. Where it says that you think you hear something. Is that them? Who is it? Is it, could it be them? I don't know. That's the way I took it. This poem is written well because it brings the darkness that some families suffer. And, I wish for them that they find their lost ones. I don't know if that's how he meant it, if they passed away or they were just missing, but I would take it as missing since their picture was on every, sidewalk or telephone pole. It's awful and wonderful read, Pam.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. Um, yeah, I mean, it's dark and it's ominous, and unfortunately, it's a reality. So many people just disappear, just gone off the face of the earth, never to be seen from, never be heard from again. And when it's a child, that's the worst thing that could happen, really. Um, wow, just incredible. It was a fantastic ride. It's ominous, it's dark, but it's beautifully penned. I like the layout of the wording because it's kind of just all over the map with the word placement because there's nothing structured about this right, and I like that about it. So nicely done, Samuel Black. Thank you for sharing. And Pam Ray, you read it. What did you think?
Oh my goodness gracious. This is such a powerful brevity with amazing imagery. I haven't seen Samuel Black's name in a while, so it's good to see a write of his. This was definitely a well-deserved front page pick. An amazing brevity that has great use of spacing. I feel like the spacing works particularly well in this poem because I feel like the spaces between the lines represents the empty space in the lives of families whose children, whose loved ones have gone missing. This is definitely a right that hits really hard on the sad reality of a missing child. Um, and which unfortunately, like you said, Gray, just happens all over the place. And it's not just missing children, there's missing elderly parents. I mean, it just it's so sad that oftentimes all these families have is the memories that they hold on to and the hope that they hold on to. So excellent, right, and very well done by Samuel Black.
Beautiful comment. Thanks so much, Pam Ray, and a fabulous read as well. All right, so up next we have If Your Abs Brings Us High on the Back Streets. Dervishes of friable oak fingers whirl, while their red-skinned brothers cling like Papoose brethren to bedraggled squaw, eddy in idiopathic geometries of chaos. Grayscale cyclones, watched over like a hawk, provide back page ink. Front page pics by the gods lay beauty on a back street, any town, anytime, anywhere. And yeah, that's it. Says for Ursula Robinson, Jeffers' poem prompt, The Beauty of Things. Nicely done, if you're abs. And Luyu, well done. What did you think?
These red golden leaves just swirl around and just taking the delight and the beauty of nature. I thought that was just beautiful. He talks about the geometries of the chaos, where the wind moves the leaves, because that's how you see wind when it's picking up things like dust, especially leaves, how it swirls and just moves. And the manner of that geometrical, I don't know what there's a name for it. Pam might know it. And just the delight of, in his last stanza where he talks, oh wow, I got a front page pick on that. Hmm. And it does. It gives you a happy kick to start the day off. And I really enjoyed it.
Nice comment. And yeah, I enjoyed his right. I thought he captured the imagery with a deft pen. Like the dervishes of friable oak fingers whirl. Like you can picture the leaves blowing in circles and kind of cyclones. But I like the way he captures it, and then he explains what he's talking about. Grayscale cyclones watched over like a hawk. Provide back page ink, front page pics by the gods. Lay beauty on a back street, any town, anytime, anywhere. Fantastic rate and excellent read as well. Pam Ray, what did you think? Oh, sorry, I read it. Pam, your thoughts?
Come on. Oh my goodness gracious. Apparently my hand doesn't know how to work a mute button. I just kept unmuting and muting myself. Oh, I thought this was just absolutely the most clever brevity, wonderful imagery and metaphors. I got a big kick out of front page pics by the gods, and then the irony, although I'm sure it wasn't complete irony that he got that front page pick. Um, it was definitely well deserved, but what this really spoke to me on is the idea that, yeah, being on the main street where you've got like all the little shops and stuff are great, but what's really great is to go into those back streets, go into those less traveled areas, those less traveled roads, to find the beauty found away from Main Street. And besides front page pics by the gods, I also really like Dervishes of Friable Oak Fingers Whirl. Wonderful lines and very well done by If You Are Abs.
Beautiful comment, Pam Ray. Thanks so much. Alrighty, so I have the next write up. If you wouldn't mind reading that, please, Pam. It is called "The Comforting Cold Inheritance" by Helen Bannister. If you wouldn't mind, please.
I would be happy to. Black stained, tired apron collapses into rest for another week. Service uniform, camouflaging nightly loneliness. I close my door, eating poverty, quietly arriving with daylight smiles, making lives brighter, leaving no trace. Worn as a cold inheritance, this black protection cloth, the same thread stitched through my mother, my grandmother. What came first, the apron or the belief we were born to wear it? End poem.
Beautiful read, Pam. And Luyu Wildup, what did you think?
And with the way life is right now, after wearing that black apron after doing all that laundry, hanging it by the fireplace so it'll dry, and then your service uniform that especially it looks sounds like she's doing the night shift, and she brings out there the nightly loneliness. I close my door, eating poverty. You can be working your bones off, and it's exhausting to work for the money that you're getting, and then to having to hand wash your clothes, which is a lot of work. And then you finally, it seems like she goes to sleep and then wakes up to daylight and smiles and making lives brighter, leaving no trace, to wake up and thank God for another day. And then of course back to work, probably doing things at home before she goes back to work, wearing the same apron that her mother wore and her grandmother. And then she says, what came first, the apron or the belief we were born to wear it? And, we don't really have that tradition or work ethic anymore where we um, have to wear aprons, but people still do, depending on what their job is and depending how much work they have to do. But I enjoyed the poem by Helen, and congratulations on your front page pick, and nicely read, Pam.
Beautiful comment. Thanks so much, Luyu. But yeah, I mean, we're born into the life that we're meant to live. And unfortunately for some, that means wearing the same apron that your mother and your grandmother had worn through their lives because that was the station that they were given. They weren't given the Rolls Royce or the swimming pool or the bikinis. They were just given a black apron to help them through the mundane lives. And, there's a beauty in acceptance of that. And, you know, um, I really enjoyed that penultimate stanza where it says, "What came first, the apron or the belief we were born to wear it?" Fantastic, right, Helen? And thank you for sharing. Ray, your thoughts?
Yeah, Helen Bannister is another new name to me, so great to see a new name. This has strong lines with amazing imagery. I like how it takes a look at following the paths of the people who came before us and the end question, which seems to be pondering the idea that do we stay in where we're at because we feel like there is nothing more for us? Are we, afraid to step out of what is considered the norm, the tradition of the family? Just an amazing write, though, that also to me pays tribute to the lives of people who work hard and live day to day and what it can feel like to struggle with poverty, to struggle with loneliness. Just absolutely an amazing write by Helen Bannister, and very well done.
Beautiful comment. Thanks so much, Family. All right, up next we have Miriam Kilmer. Sorry, we're into open poetry now. And Miriam Kilmer brings us Yard Full of Memories. I could return to the house where I grew up, but I know the weedy field would not be there. Years ago, it made way for a parking lot. My siblings and I used to gather flowers and milkweed that scattered fairies with every breath we blew. Wild strawberries hid among the leaves with flavor so intense I taste them still. Goldenrod grew like wildfire, and evergreens popped up everywhere. So many games we played in that field, but for the hide and seek, it was the perfect place. We were invisible to all until the seeker came upon us suddenly, both parties shaken with surprise. In the tame parts of the yard, many of my favorite trees are gone, some of necessity, some I know not why. The maple that stood like a sentinel outside the front door rotted away from the inside long ago, becoming a danger. But pear trees were slaughtered without mercy. My nephews and nieces carried the scattered blossoming branches into the house, all four of them weeping. Those trees carried the history of our yard. There were so many pears. When neighbors came to pick a few, we ran out with grocery bags, begging them to gather all they wanted. Ours were cooking pears, not best for eating raw, but oh, the pear butter and preserves, wonderful. The apple trees were better for climbing, but I am approaching my 40-line allowance. Check back for a sequel someday. And poem. Wow, beautiful. What did you think, Pam Ray?
Oh, I thought this was absolutely wonderful. Um, such thoughtful and heartfelt lines. It really is a sad thing when trees are cut down. I mean, obviously sometimes it's a necessity, and I think it's important that along with cutting trees down, we replace them. Um, I love the imagery in this. I love that it's nostalgic and that it really hits hard with the idea of trees being taken down that were beautiful and useful. Pear trees. I mean, my goodness gracious, I cannot imagine taking away pear trees. Um, you know, Even ones that were cooking pears, because that there's so many wonderful uses for them. And there really is, like, each one of my kids has had a favorite tree that they liked spending time nearby. And same way with me when I was a kid. And so it feels like when you have a favorite area to play in, when you have a favorite tree or trees to be by, or that provide your family with something. It's such a sad experience to see how, with the passing of time and people's decisions, that area changes. I thought this had wonderful lines throughout and was very well done.
Beautiful comment, Pam Ray. Thank you so much. And Luyu Wildup, your thoughts?
I agree with a lot of the things that Pam said. When I go by my mom's house, I have a lot of these same memories. We live in a desert, but if you looked at my mom's yard, it was like living in the South. She had climbing roses and flowers, and in the backyard, an assortment of fruit trees and garden where we would just go pick off the green beans and, pick up, the fruit trees. And this reminded me so much with Miriam You climb up in them. You play hide, like she brings out hide and seek, and even the fruit, she would give it away and make jams with it. I remember being in the kitchen for hours making pears and peaches and apples and cutting all of that work. It's a lot of work. But you know what? The memories that, spending time with my mother and my family, my friends, and, to have all of that lost because people don't care for it. That breaks my heart more than anything. You buy the house because it's beautiful, and then you get in it and you just don't water and you just let everything dry up and die. And it just makes me, what type of person are you inside? That, of course, if you don't want to make grow grass because of the expense of the water, at least water the trees. But nope. And then you have places where they just tear it down for modern society. There's more people, there's not as much room, and we can't go picking those flowers and putting them in our friend's hair. And I love that where she says, my siblings and I used to gather flowers and milkweed that scattered fairies with every breath we blew. Wild strawberries hid among the leaves with a flavor so intense I taste them still. This is a well-deserved gold poem for Miriam, and I hope to she will get better soon and come join us in the show. Beautiful poem.
Great comment. Thanks so much, Luyu. Yeah, I mean, this brought me back to childhood. As a child, I had trees that we'd climb, and you know, um, pear trees that we'd raid. But it wasn't always our backyard that we enjoyed so much, but other people's. Hint, hint, wink, wink. But yeah, I can remember playing hide and seek in the fields with the grass so tall that you just kind of got lost in it. Um, and I remember wild strawberries and wild, they were like little blackberries, black caps they were called. Oh my God, those things were so good, incredible. But when she mentioned the wild berries there, my mouth watered. It instantly wanted to taste that. Just so sweet, so delicious. Ugh, I'm craving that now. Thank you, Miriam. Beautiful, right? All right. Pam Ray, up next we have Begin Again by Noel Nightshade. If you wouldn't mind reading that, please.
I would be happy to. All right. Do you remember how it felt to begin again? The expansion of your bubble bursting with new information. I spent hours in lecture learning the molecules that make us who we are. Feeling out of place, I stumble upon a sanctuary, somewhere unexpected, a few steps away from construction and honking, and I was soundproofed inside a rose garden. As a beginner, you learn what it means to step into an alternate reality. Do you believe in the unseen and how a truer world created this one? Maybe you have begun to search again, and perhaps after reaching loftier goals, you finally understand acceptance in a ceremonious wedding celebrating you. But love, it is not buried in a rose garden or in the perception of others. Otherwise, you would have already found it. End poem.
Beautiful read, Pam Ray. And New You Wild Up, what are your thoughts?
I really loved her poem, and where she talks about to begin again. Do you remember how it felt to begin again? The expansion of your bubble bursting with new information. I spent hours in a lecture learning the molecules that make us who we are. This reminded me when I was at the university where you're in a class, and sometimes it can be overwhelming if you don't really understand what they're talking about. And you have to go study a little more to understand what your professor's trying to, get you to understand. And I would walk at the university, and I found so many out uh places where I didn't feel like I was at the university. I felt like I was in a garden that was whimsical, and like she says here, somewhere unexpected. And, of course, they were building a bridge. So, I just, all that noise and honking that it makes. And then just to find this beautiful garden and enjoy it, just to end up finding a place you never expected you were going to find. Beautiful poem by Noel.
Beautiful comment. Thanks so much, Lee. And I really enjoyed the serenity of the rose garden. Um, there's places in cities that are just like that. They're just little pockets of sanctuary from the chaos of the city surrounding it. Um, Rare, but they are there. It took me back to being a kid. We had this green space in the middle of town that I don't know why it was there, but it was just, I guess it was just like a big park. But it was sanctuary. It's kind of like New York City with Times Square. I mean, with Central Park in New York City. It's a refuge away from all that chaos, to some degree. I mean, it's a change of pace. It's a different environment, and I really enjoyed visiting that rose garden with her. So nicely done, Noel, and fantastic read, Pam. What did you think, Pam Ray?
Oh, this is absolutely wonderful. Um, there's actually in Duluth, Minnesota, where my sister lives, there's a beautiful rose garden right by in the Canal Park area, which is by Lake Superior. And the my sister actually got married there, so and it's such a beautiful area. But what I get from this poem, which has amazing imagery and really thoughtful lines, and I think this especially comes through in that end stanza that says, "But love, it is not buried in a rose garden or in the perception of others, otherwise you would have already found it." This to me is the idea of the understanding that love is between you and your partner and not based on what others think it should be. It also speaks on the idea of learning to be like the first parts of the poem speaks on being an outsider, and it speaks to me also on learning to love yourself and the idea that that comes first. So, absolutely an amazing write and very well done by Noel.
Beautiful comment. Thanks so much, Pam Ray. And Lee said she dropped. Are you back, Lee?
She she is back.
Thank you, Pam.
Unmute, Lee.
I don't have any button.
She is unmuted. She's just extremely quiet.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm back.
And what did you think of that poem, Lee?
I was trying to get back on, so if somebody else wants to comment, so I can try and at least get
Okay.
some of it read.
We'll catch you on the next one, Lee.
Okay.
It's okay. All right. So up next we have Tertulia. Tertula left the bottle. And this is by Vazago. Tertulia left the bottle by Vazago. At Tertulia, the panda holds my keys to my right. I look at my hand. 2 bracelets. Chain of Ferris to keep him in check. A leather one, too, with a small Fenris head on it. Beneath the steel, I keep him close, always, on my arm, but chained by me. My hat beside the panda, glasses on top of it, so I do not forget either. Under my iPhone, 2 printed poems, translated into Spanish. A gift for the owner. He cannot read English. Israel on my arm, Odin in ruins near my wrist. Sometimes I wonder if I am wiser now. A glass of cognac, a cafe, my luckies to my left. Behind the bar, a lot of bottles I would like to taste just because. The tray of muffins sits there too, under its glass dome. The owner sits far left, near the pool table, watching TV, like always, an old war movie. You hear it immediately. The vocals, not like modern films. Everything quiet, not even a stereo on, just the TV. I look around the place, checking if my ghosts still sit where I left them. Most do. I think. I pour myself another cup. He left the bottle in foam. And the author's notes say, not every better day arrives loudly. Sometimes it is simply sitting quietly with your ghosts and realizing they no longer control the room. End poem. Wow, that was deep. What did you think, Pamray?
Oh, I thought this was a wonderful write by Rizago. Amazing imagery, thoughtful lines. I like the beauty in the simplicity of this time where it's all about that quiet, reflective time, spent with yourself and, just kind of finding a new perspective of yourself. And I thought there was great lines throughout, but I especially like the owner sits far left near the pool table watching TV like always, an old war movie. You hear it immediately. The voices, not like modern films, everything quiet, not even the stereo on, just the TV. I look around the place checking if my ghosts still sit where I left them. Most do. Wonderful lines and very well done.
Beautiful comment, Pamray. Thank you so much. And Luyu Wildup, what did you think? Unmute, Luyu.
I am unmuted.
Okay, there you are.
I like this poem by Valzago. I like Pam's comment. In Europe they have these little cafes you find on corners and out of place, down the block, out of traffic, and you go sit down and you have your cafe, a little drink. If there's sweets there, if you choose to eat them. And, I really liked how he talked about he laid his hat beside the panda, glasses on top of it, so I don't forget either. You when you go to these little spots, it just is an opportunity to give thought to what's going on in your day, the decisions you're making, and sometimes the decisions are very difficult. And when we go back to these little in and out cafes, um, to get ourselves together, to contemplate what we're going to do. And each decision is usually made in different chairs because people go there and they're probably doing the same thing. Um, and they are quiet. Usually they're by either younger people or older people. Will depend what type of music or music you won't hear. So I really enjoyed this very much.
Thank you, Luyu. Yeah, I enjoyed the write too. I mean, it was atmospheric, it was engaging, um, it was appealing in its thought process. It was I really enjoyed sitting with his ghost, because we all kind of do that. We take energy with us when we're apart from it. Um, and I think that's a natural thing to do. We're all kind of haunted by our ghosts, and they sit with us as we sit in this quiet environment. That the TV just kind of plays in the background, and it's just empty and quiet. It's a nice place to clear the mind and to sit relax. Nicely done. Thank you so much, Mizago. All right, Pam Ray. Next right is called Nocturnal Star by Lorient Montanaire. If you wouldn't mind reading that, please.
Within the gloomy layers of the darkness of the night, there is a bright constellation of the sparkling stars, seen only through the magical lens of your exotic eyes. You stared into the doubt of my dalliance and romance. Amidst the stirring night, you are moonstruck by my guiding light, taking you to the furthest realm of the cosmos upon my heat, where you ride the celestial tale of our powerful passion, while we plunge our bodies into the secrets of a black hole, emerging then as a luminous supernova created by our desires. Your hair is the onyx shade of space waiting for my caress. You are blinded by the beauty of my enrapturing reflection, for no light could shine more in the darkness than mine. I just want you to see the light of my impassioned glow. I could touch your lips with a stellified kiss to awaken your longing, release your lust from the cold moon, and ignite suddenly its central sun till we make love beneath the canopy of the erotic universe, where the light of our fusion succumbs to the fireball of our seduction. Eres la oscuridad, y yo soy la luz. You are the darkness, and I am the light. Déjame ser tu estrella nocturna. Let me be your nocturnal star. Look for me tonight after the twilight. In the poem.
Wow, fantastic read. And so romantic, really. Um, your hair is the onyx shade of space waiting for my caress. You are blinded by the beauty of my enrapturing reflection, for no light could shine more into the darkness than mine. I just want you to see the light of my impassioned glow. And, he's got such a romantic streak in him that really shines brightly throughout this right. So, my comment says, your mastercraft of words shines through in this brilliant poem filled with incredible imagery and emotions. Nicely done, Frank. And Pam Ray, what did you think?
Oh, wonderful reading voice. I hope Jean is listening now. It was a good thing that I was because I started reading and I was halfway through reading because I totally was in my own zone. And I stopped and said, wait a minute, doesn't this have a sound bar? And that's when I realized I was on mute and Jean had already. Oh my gosh. So the rest of it, but yeah, I thought this was just an amazing write by Frank. I like this. It's a well deserved like stumble over or something. Beautiful romanticism. I love in and uh, but I especially like for no light could shine more in the darkness than mine. The light of my impassioned glow. I your lips wonderful lines and
Thank you so much, Pam Ray. Although you may have to try calling back in because you are breaking up quite severely in your comment. So if you wouldn't mind trying to call back. Lee Wildup, what did you think?
From Frank Laurent. Um, Especially he starts up in his ending stanza, which took me back to the top. Déjame ser tu estrella nocturna, where he says to this person that he loves, let me be your nocturnal star. And he says, look for me tonight after twilight. I really like that because he said, and I just thought that was so beautiful because he says above that he could release your lust from the cold moon and the night suddenly a sensual sun. But what the one that stanza that I like the most is where he says, I could touch your lips with a stealthy kiss to awaken your longing. And he's, this is the love that he'll bathe her in, bathe her darkness. So I thought this was just absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous.
Fantastic.
And
Fantastic comment, Lee Wildup. All right, so you're up next to read, Pam. Do you?
all right. How am I sounding?
Loud and clear.
Awesome. Except for now I can hear myself echoing.
Yeah.
Echo?
Well, at least you can hear yourself.
Okay, ready?
Yeah, go ahead, Lee.
Mirror Tempest by Luyu Wild Dove. Passions surge in my lunar rides. Pulling fingers float over my skin. Aqueous body answers. Hips rise. And okay, my poem just got lost. So I'll just start again. Hips rise, rising and falling rhythms attraction. Dilating moans, gravitating waters. Binding me in the enchanting fluctuations. Pinned by wet, lit cliff walls. Anchor the breaths of passion. Motions, bodies of moon and sea. Pleasured eyes as synergy. Celestial embodiment. Binding love's torsos in mirrored tempest. In poem.
I've never seen this piece before. Kind of surprised. Um, but this was written to a quote by Elizabeth B. Brown. The moon and oceans create tides, two uniquely different forces working together. Um, yeah, beautiful, right, Lou? I like the passion and the imagery. You say so much without saying anything at all. But if you read between the lines, it's all quite clear. Nicely done, Lou, and a fantastic read as well. Pam Ray, what did you think?
Oh, this is beautiful, Lou. Such a well-deserved front page pick. And wonderful imagery. I feel like I feel like because this must have been right around the time when I first joined All Poetry, I was still very new at commenting. So all I said was this was beautiful to read. And I still hold to that. It is beautiful to read. But there's so much more that I could have said about this poem. I mean, amazing imagery and metaphors, captivating lines. I like how this is sensual. I like how it speaks on the idea of a love and desire and attraction that is like the rhythm of the waves and the moon that connects with them. I thought there was great lines throughout, but I did especially like that second stanza. Beautifully written and very well done.
Thank you so much, Fam Ray. And Luyu, would you like to say anything about your poem that you read?
Oh. It was that quote inspired me. And I ended up looking, what was I going to write for that? And then I saw this photograph where the seas are rise up to the moon, or that the moon allows the waters to rise up. And I find nature very sexy, very sensual, and it's my pleasure to write about that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Nicely done, Luyu. Alrighty, I'm gonna grab the next poem here. And this one's mine, actually. Alrighty, I'll give this a read. Paste this to the group. Alright, here we go. It's called Thank You by Gray Eye Smith. An angel in disguise, a light before my eyes, love so pure, it will endure. Always they're there supporting, like a sound of guns reporting. You are my love, you are my light, especially on the darkest night. Together, at each other's sides, I hold your hand until fear subsides. You know your name, you light my flame, an angel on earth, warming my hearth. I breathe you in, exhaling my sin, the blue in my sky, giving me lift as I fly. Thank you, my love, a gift from above. End poem. And your thoughts, family?
Well, great read there, Gray. This is beautiful, heartfelt lines. I love that the title is Thank You. You know, giving out thanks to somebody who has been an important part of your life. I really particularly like An Angel on Earth Warming My Hearth. I breathe you in, exhaling my sin, the blue in my sky, giving me lift as I fly. Thank you, my love, a gift from above. Wonderful, right? And very well done. I tell you, Gray, you got to start using Suno and sharing some of these musical pieces with us. Not that, I
Yeah,
mean, your
yeah,
voice is wonderful to hear, but if I was just thinking some of these that you're putting to this AI song maker would work really well on Suno.
yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much, Pam Ray. I appreciate the wonderful comment. And Lee Welda, what are your thoughts?
There's something about unconditional love. I see that you wrote this about family, spiritual. In your rhyme, I really loved your cadence in here, and that this is about love. When you when those words finally hit the paper and you see them with your eyes, especially here, an angel in disguise, a light before my eyes, love so pure, it will endure. Love to me endures into each cycle of life. And, you look for that flame that will light you inside. And when it does, I loved your last stanza, Gray. the blue in my sky, giving me lift as I fly. Thank you, my love, a gift from above. This was beautifully penned, Greg.
Thank you, Luyu. I appreciate that.
This one either.
I'm sorry?
I haven't read this one. First time I
Oh,
ever read it.
I see. Yeah, well, you don't know everything about me. Alrighty. Pam Ray, I have the next write up. This is song lyrics by Budo, by Heavenly Angel and by Budo. It's called Melody of Love. Now, I don't know if there's a song to that, but if there is,
There is. I really don't like reading Budo's songs. If it's possible to get the audio loaded. I don't know if I don't know if that's something that can be done. And we could go to another one and then wait and see.
sure.
But if not, I mean, I'm happy to read him. I just think hearing his songs is always the better option.
Yeah, absolutely. Phil, maybe you could work on that for us if you don't mind.
Oh, she says she's
She's
on
on
it.
it.
Okay,
Alrighty.
great.
Thank you, Phil. All right, so back to the front page picks here for now. We have S.E. DeHaven brings us LSMSA Senior Prom Playlist 1999. If you wouldn't mind reading that, please, Pam.
I would be happy to. Dance with me and forget that everybody wants to rule the world. Time in a bottle stopped, frozen in glass, and I remember you as you were. We hadn't finished growing yet. Don't you forget about me, the girl in red satin with eyes screaming youth and song. Memory is Hotel California, beautiful and hard to leave. Drinking whiskey and rye, had we gone and thrown it all away? Columbine, tornadoes, fire. But we didn't start the fire. Losing my religion and gaining another, old as stone, losing you in the slip of seconds. And we walked like Egyptians and we got the beat. And we even did the Macarena. I can still see the I can still see you, fist in the air, screaming, tin roof rusted. We talked to angels, but time is the landslide doomed to bring us back. It was the end of the world as we knew it, screaming all the words to the indifferent DJ and poem.
Enjoyed all the different memories that came along with this poem. It took you back to 1999 and all the music that was playing on the air, like Time in a Bottle. Um, Don't You Forget About Me, The Girl in Red Satin, Hotel California, Drinking Whiskey and Rye. Drinking whiskey and rye, singing, this will be the day that I die. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was nicely done. I liked it. And Luyu, what did you think? Unmute, Luyu. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I really enjoyed this senior prom, talking about that year and the music, how the music infuses the memories, or the memories infuse the music. And SE did this wonderfully. Um, I smiled when with this stanza. It's my favorite. And we walked like Egyptians, and we got the beat, and we even did the Macarena, So, and then she goes into her next stanza, and I can still see you fist in the air screaming, tin roof rusted. So this was very visual. It was wonderfully penned. Not only did he get a front page pick, but they won a gold medal, and a silver medal. So congratulations. I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Fantastic comment. Luyu, well done. Alrighty, so we've got that Budo song up and running. I've reposted the link, and anytime you're ready, Phil.
Sometimes when you're asleep, I look at you and smile and whisper softly, I love you. Can you hear me? I love you. You are my soulmate, my melody of love, my happiness and joy, my melody of love. I feel love more than I ever had before. Your love is something I will always need. The gift of your time that you give to me. You are my soulmate, my melody of love, my happiness and joy, my melody of love. I look so deep into your eyes and I feel like I am home. My love for you will never, never stop growing. Each day there's something new about you that bends my broken heart. You are the wind that so softly blows, caresses my face, enlightens my load. The stars out each night, and a velvet kiss of moon. You are my soulmate, my melody of love, my happiness and joy, my melody of love. You are my soulmate, my melody of love, my happiness and joy, my melody of love.
Nicely done, Budo, and a fantastic write by Heavenly Angel that was inspired this song. I really loved his performance in this. His vocals were great. The guitar was great. Everything was beautiful about the song. You could feel the passion in it. You could feel the desire. Uh, and the melody of love song shines through. So beautifully done, Budo. My favorite song from you. Nicely done. Pam Ray, what did you think?
This is a wonderful combination. The music of Budo with the writing of Heavenly Angel, who is a very talented poetess. I thought there were great lines throughout. I especially like the chorus, and you are the wind that so softly blows, caresses my face, and lightens my load. The stars out each night, and a velvet kiss of moon. Beautiful imagery and these heartfelt lines that speak on a deep connection between soulmates. So, very well done.
Beautiful comment. Thanks so much, Pam Ray. And Luyu Wildup, what are your thoughts?
Well, I really loved the lyrics by Heavenly. She did. This is just beautiful. And then to have Budo write the music to it, just gorgeous. Um, you, the lyrics are so beautifully written that you can feel the emotion of the writer. And then to get a talented musician like Dan to sing this was just fantastic. The music, I really loved the stanza that Heavenly wrote. I look so deep into your eyes and I feel like I'm at home. That is something when you find your true love, just the sight of them, your body melts and you feel like you could go through anything and you feel like you're at home. And then you go on, just when you think you love somebody so much, you learn, whatever they do for you. Um, I heard something, I had an elderly lady told me that when she got sick, her husband was every day with her while she was getting chemotherapy. And, she says, that is when I realized I loved him more than I ever did before. And, they do, they mend your broken heart. And this is just gorgeously penned. And the music was just fabulous by Dan.
Beautiful comment. Thanks so much, Lou. But just a heads up, that he wrote that's his words written to a prompt poem by Heavenly Angel. I just checked out the poem, so those are his own words. But yeah, nicely done. Thanks so much for sharing, Budo. Alrighty, where are we to next here? Okay, let me just check here. Alright, so I've got the next poem up, and this is called The Butterfly Lady by Image and Visions. Wings flutter in majestic grace, royal colors conveying unabashed exhibitions of fertility's grace. From chrysalis they emerge, splashed tapestries, resplendent and rich, glorious patterns of stunning tints, sewn together with a satin stitch in divinely inspired prints. 3 generations birthed rapid successions, countless kings and queens procreating, preparing for the fourth migration, millions of butterflies relocating, a marathon journey to a distant repose, far away in the Amazon jungle, to where milkweed grows, survival for the monarchs and their struggle. End poem. And the author's note says, I've seen a few documentaries on this butterfly. Look for Great Migrations, the monarch butterfly on YouTube if you're interested. Nicely done. Beautiful poem. Yeah, I've always been in love with butterflies. They just fascinate me that they travel so far, you know, and there's millions of them. Um, they're just incredible to watch. I mean, really check out that documentary if you like butterflies at all. It's just a stunning imagery to behold. Pam Ray, what did you think?
This does have amazing imagery. I've never watched any of these documentaries, but I have seen short videos that show like when the groups, and I don't know what you call a group of monarch butterflies, but when the group of monarch butterflies are like resting on the tree together. I mean, that is just, it's like all of us, it's like they're like living, breathing flowers. They're so beautiful in their colors. They're such a their lives are so short, and yet they bring so much beauty in that short amount of time. And to think that they make such a long journey. I mean, it's just absolutely fascinating. I might have to check out one of these documentaries. A wonderful write by Image and Visions, and very well done.
Thank you so much, Family. That was a great comment. Alrighty, I'm gonna grab the next poem here. Alright, so up next we have The Mighty Long Way, a poem by Laurent Avon. And it says he will read, so I'm gonna skip over that one for now. And we're gonna go to He's Her Anchor, a poem by J.A. Nice. And I'll post this to the group whenever you see this, Family. If you wouldn't mind reading that, please.
I would be happy to.
Thank you.
All right, here we go. He walks the dog before bed while she sets the coffee pot for morning. This has been the routine night after night for years. They lay together, covered lightly by thin cotton sheets, with his body resting half across hers, one hand in her hair, an arm wrapped around her chest, one leg across hers. He holds her tightly as they drift into the darkness of night. He holds on for dear life. Some nights his warmth, his weight is a comforting blanket of protection. Others, an anchor pulling her under, holding her back. She is drowning in his depths. End poem.
Beautiful read, Family. But would you mind reading the author's notes a bit, please?
Sure, I would be happy to. Um, Prompt is the following final stanza of Aso Buko by Billy Collins. In a while, one of us will go to bed and the other one will follow. Then we will slip below the surface of the night into miles of water, drifting down and down to the dark, soundless bottom until the weight of dreams pulls us lower still, below the shale and layered rock, beneath the strata of hunger and pleasure, into the broken bones of the earth itself, into the marrow of the only place we know.
Beautiful. Thank you, Pam. Yeah, that was a lovely poem. You could feel the connectedness, the tenderness, the togetherness that is prevalent in the right. Um, you can picture them laying together, covered lightly by thin cotton sheets, his body half resting across hers, one hand in her hair and an arm wrapped around her chest, one leg laying across hers. Um, so many people cuddle up and fall asleep like this every night and every day. It's beautifully done. I liked it a lot. What did you think, Pam Ray?
Yeah, this is beautifully written, a well deserved front page pick. Amazing imagery and metaphors throughout. I like the duality of the anchor metaphor that comes through at the end. You know, some nights his warmth is weight, his weight is a comforting blanket of protection. Others is an anchor pulling her under, holding her back. She is drowning in his depths. That idea that, loving somebody, especially somebody who depends so much on you, can be both beautiful, but at the same time it can kind of weigh heavy upon you. So just an amazing write by J.A. Nice and very well done.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Pam Ray. Alrighty, I'm gonna grab the next poem here. And sorry, wrong poem. This is called "The Story of Time," a poem by a Celtic queen, and I'll post this to the group. Alrighty, goes like this: Dark forests had covered the land for thousands of years, growing into giants. Cedars, firs, hemlocks, and spruce towered over the ferns and flowering bushes, offering shade over the rivers where the salmon nested and shelter for the forest creatures. The land felt a trembling now, heard a violent rumbling sound, then the crashing of the great giants. Men had taken over the forest and began cutting down the ancient trees, where once the land had lain in shadow, now it blinked in the sunlight. All that remained from the horizon to horizon were the bleeding stumps of amputated trees. Different plants began to grow, sun loving plants. In time, those new plants took over and grew into groves of alder, willow, cottonwood, and maple, giving shelter to the forest creatures. The river regained its shade, and the salmon came back. It is the story of change, of growth, of life. It is the story of time and poem. And Pam Ray, what are your thoughts?
Well, before I comment, I did want to let you know that Lou is back with us.
Oh,
Um,
welcome back, Leah.
yes. And I thought this had strong imagery and metaphors, amazing right on how a forest, an ancient forest, can reflect the humanity, the history of life, the history of humanity. So excellent right and very well done by Celtic Queen.
Thanks so much, Pam Ray. And Leah, did you get a chance to hear the poem?
Yes. I really enjoyed this poem by Celtic Queen. Um, and she got a gold medal on this well-deserved poem and also a front page pick. With the first stanza, she goes into the ancient forest where, trees were the giants. Not only they were used by the ancient people as protection and something that needed to be protected. And all the wild animals at that time that were sheltered within this ancient forest. And now, we go into more modern times when people started moving across the lands and they didn't have the respect of the trees that the ancient people did. They began cutting them down. Just, what he was saying here that just, oh, it hurt. All that remained from horizon to horizon were the bleeding stumps of amputated trees. And of course, the forest will always regenerate itself and begin to grow. But the giant trees, they sadly no longer exist. Now they're into homes and floors and um, modernization. And, hopefully the river will regain its shade and the salmon will come back once the other trees start to grow. And like in his last sentence, this is a story of time, well penned and well deserved gold medal.
Great comment. Thank you so much, Leah. All right, so I am going to post the next poem. Oh, I did. Pam Ray, would you mind reading the next poem, please? It's by S.E. Vesper, and it's called Flickering Blue.
All right. At 8 a.m. one Monday morning, bright with quiet pride, a little girl stepped through the door with wonder at her side. A pink skirt swayed around her knees, new shoes lit up the floor, blue flashes dancing with each step as she crossed to her door. She set her lunchbox gently down, unzipped her bag with care, and pulled out Puddles, soft and small, and placed him by her chair. She smiled, already planning how she'd stand and proudly tell of how she got him for her day at midday show and tell. By 11, crayons filled the air with waxy colored heat, and glue sticks rolled on cluttered desks beneath small restless feet. At 12:05, she took her place, legs folded on the ground, with Puddles tucked beneath her arm, and classmates gathered round. They listened, laughed, and leaned in close, still certain in their way that school was safe, that walls could hold the dark things at bay. But time does not ask what we need, it does not slow or bend. It moves ahead without a pause, unknowing of an end. The clock upon the wall ticked on, unchanged in pace or sound, not knowing it would soon divide what once was whole and bound. The hallway still, no laughter now, no echoing of feet, just something sharp and out of place that broke the rhythm's beat. The sounds that came were not for them, nor meant for ears so small, yet filled the space between each breath and pressed against the wall. Lunch boxes slipped from trembling hands and thudded to the floor, while desks were dragged with shaking force and braced against the door. Small hands that once held crayons tight now covered ears instead, as if they could erase the noise of leaving the silence dead. And puddles slipped from gentle arms and fell without a sound into a spreading quiet dark that pooled across the ground. He lay there still, his stitched on smile unchanged, yet somehow wrong, soaking in what could not be his where he did not belong. A single shoe kept blinking blue on off against the tile, a rhythm that refused to stop, though only for a while. And later, when the room is cleared and voices all depart, they'll find him lying where he fell, a witness set apart. We'll speak of it in numbers first, in headlines thin and cold, in arguments that circle on, rehearsed and often told. But somewhere sits a mother staring at a small receipt for shoes that should have lit the halls beneath her daughter's feet. Not lit a place of memory where silence settles in, where every breath recalls the line between what was and been. The desks will stand against the next day, the bell will ring on time. Another class will take their place in order and in line. They'll learn to they'll learn to lock, to hide, to wait, to still themselves from fear before they learn what hours mean or why the clock is near. And we will call it something safe, pretend that this is fine. Another story passing through another blurred headline. But it is not for mothers' hands to lure children down, nor for a toy to outlast love in any given town. So tell me how many lights must fade before we understand that time did not abandon her. No, this blood is on our hands. End poem. Oh my goodness gracious.
Wow, Pam. Thank you for getting through that. I wasn't sure if you'd be able to, but you did. Um, yeah, I mean, it's devastating. Gun violence in school should not exist, yet it is part of our life. Now kids have to suffer through this, and the world has to suffer through this tragedy. Um, so many broken children with guns. I mean, it's so sad that this exists in our world, and unfortunately, it's not just an American thing. I think it happens everywhere in the world, and it's just not the same for children in school anymore. It's our second right that speaks of this violence in school tonight. So I think that's what we need to take away is um, the awareness that this is happening. Very sad. S.C. Bestbury did a beautiful job of writing that, though. Um, Luyu, oh, sorry, Luyu's gone, isn't she?
No,
Um,
no, I'm
She's
here.
here.
oh, okay. Luyu, your thoughts?
You know, this choked me up because the way that she wrote this is so detailed and her rhyme is so perfect that she takes us through a day in school for some children that will never come home or who have been damaged by school shootings. She said she saw this by watching the news, and, no matter how many times children have to be shot, that and especially in a safe environment where they're supposed to be coloring and doing show and tell and taking their lunch boxes with figures on it, the simple things that children should have and should experience. And even now, in the schools, the children are taught to push against the door, not to open the door. I did, the way we grew up going to school was nothing like the children have to go to school now. The safety they no longer have. Um, for somebody that is upset or imbalanced, finds that killing children is something that needs to be done. I think this poem should be read during a newscast. So hopefully it would soften the hearts of those that think that this is something that is okay and not to be taken care of, to be shooting people and and going to grocery shopping or going to church, being in church. The ones that need the most protection today in our society are not protected. This is just heartbreaking.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks so much, Luyu. And Pam Ray, you read it. What did you think?
Oh my goodness gracious, this one really hits hard. I mean, both rights that uh, were about school shootings were sad, but I think what really caught me off guard with this one is not only the rhyme and flow, but that it started out being about this child that was there to share her favorite stuffed animal. And it was such a sweet and innocent setup that by the time I realized that what it was changing into, I wasn't emotionally prepared. And I think that's part of what makes it a genius poem. It does have great rhyme and flow. It hits really hard. I agree with Lou. This is definitely a poem that should be read at wherever it can be read, wherever this poem can be shared. It should be an amazing, emotive, and hard hitting right by S.E. Vespers that speaks on the sad reality, the sad, ugly reality of children lost in school shootings. So, absolutely an amazing write and very well done.
Thank you, Pam. Much love. Yeah, it's devastating that this stuff happens. So tragic. Anyway, it was a beautiful Monday night to spend with you ladies. I appreciate you both so much. Fill my eyes. Thank you for everything that you do. The wizardess in the background. Much love, poets, and have a wonderful night. Good night, everybody.